The email subject line read, "Earn $20,000 in 1 week, no experience needed." I almost deleted it until I saw the attachment, a single photo of my own bedroom, taken while I was sleeping. My finger hovered over the delete button. Another spam email, I thought, but something made me open it. The message was just 3 lines. "We've been watching you. $20,000 cash for 1 week's work. Reply yes, and we'll send instructions." I laughed nervously until I opened the attachment. The blood drained from my face. It was a crystal clear photo of me sleeping in my bed last night, the digital timestamp glowing in the corner. The worst part? My bedroom door was visible in the frame, locked from the inside. I spent 3 hours checking every inch of my apartment. Hidden cameras, microphones, anything. Nothing. That's when my phone buzzed. "Stop looking. The money's real. Last chance, yes or no." I typed yes before I could stop myself. The instant reply made my hands shake. "Good. Package arrives at 8:17 a.m. Wear it for 168 consecutive hours. Do not remove. Do not ask questions. Payment upon completion." The next morning, a plain box sat outside my door. Inside was a sleek, modern wristwatch. It fit perfectly. As the clasp clicked shut, I heard my front door lock itself electronically. A new message appeared on my phone. 168 hours starts now. First rule: don't tell anyone about our arrangement. We'll know. I didn't believe them until my best friend screamed during our video call that night. "What's on your wrist?" she kept shouting. My feed showed nothing unusual, but hers showed my watch hand covered in crawling black veins. That's when I realized this wasn't a job. This was an experiment, and I was the lab rat. For the first 24 hours, I thought the worst part was not being able to remove the watch. Then, at exactly 8:17 a.m. on day 2, it started ticking backward. On the 3rd day, $5,000 appeared in my bank account with no sender info. The message that followed turned my blood to ice. Spending bonus for good behavior, buy something nice, before the withdrawals start. The watch's backward ticking had me spiraling. 71, 32, 15, 71, 32, 14. Like a countdown to something unimaginable. I nearly jumped through the ceiling when my phone chimed with a bank alert. $5,000 deposited. No transaction details, just the ominous word, bonus. The follow-up text came as I stared at the money. "You're doing so well. Why not treat yourself? That vintage necklace you've been eyeing at the pawn shop. Buy it today. We insist." My throat closed up. I'd never told anyone about that necklace, not even. My thoughts shattered as the watch suddenly vibrated. The face now showed 2 displays, the backward countdown and a new number climbing upward. $5,000. That's when I noticed the tiny needle. It emerged silently from the watch's edge, glistening under the kitchen lights. Before I could react, it pricked my wrist. Not enough to hurt, just enough to draw a single bead of blood, which the watch absorbed like thirsty paper. The climbing number updated, $5,050. A terrible understanding dawned. This wasn't a payment, it was a bid. Someone or something was pricing my fear. I ran to the bathroom to vomit. In the mirror, my reflection smiled at me. Just for a second, just long enough to whisper, "Wait till you see what $20,000 buys." Then my real mouth opened to scream, but the watch's ticking grew deafeningly loud. The counter now read 68:11:22, 681121. 3 days left, and my buyers were getting impatient. On the morning of day 4, I woke to find my first withdrawal, a lock of my hair on the pillow, neatly tied with a ribbon the color of dried blood. The watch displayed a new message. Asset depreciation noted. Current value, $18,900. On day 5, old Mrs. Krasny from 3B grabbed my wrist in the elevator, her milky eyes filled with tears as she hissed, "I wore one in '79. They don't want your money, child. They want what comes after." The watch had begun feeding. Every few hours the needle would emerge, sometimes taking blood, sometimes clear fluid I couldn't identify. The countdown read 45:22:11 when I finally left my apartment, desperate for human contact. Mrs. Krasny smelled like mothballs and fear when she seized my arm. Up close, I saw the jagged scar circling her wrist where something had been removed. "You think you're the first?" she whispered, her cracked lips barely moving. "Check your bathroom mirror at 3:33 a.m. That's when the veil lifts." That night, I sat trembling before the mirror as the watch's countdown ticked to 3:33 a.m. The glass fogged over despite no steam. Then slowly, words appeared as if written by an invisible finger. "Your current bid, $19,850. Highest bidder, number 347. Next auction, 2211. 0. Sick." The reflection behind me wasn't mine. A gaunt figure in a black suit stood there, its elongated fingers resting on my shoulders. When it smiled, its teeth were tiny, perfect piano keys. "Such spirited bidding for lot number 218. It cooed in a voice like rustling banknotes. "The Brazilian girl only fetched $14,000. But you?" Its cold tongue flicked my earlobe. "You're something special." I spun around, nothing there, but the watch now showed a new counter. Sole reserve price, $20,000. Current offer, 97% met. The next message vibrated through my bones. "Final payment will be collected upon completion. Thank you for your business." Mrs. Krasny's apartment was empty when I pounded on her door at dawn. The super said she died in 1992, but on her doorstep lay a single item, a weathered wristwatch, its face cracked at exactly 22:11 and 6 seconds. As I returned to my apartment, the watch's clasp suddenly burned my skin. The display changed one final time before going dark. "Congratulations, lot number 218. Full payment approved." That's when my front door locked itself from the outside for the first time. At exactly 3:33 a.m., my apartment filled with shadows that didn't belong to me. They stood perfectly still in the dark, their bidding cards raised. That's when I realized the watch wasn't just counting down, it was counting them in. The smell hit me first, burnt copper and wet newspaper. I woke to find 7 figures arranged around my bed in a perfect half circle. Their faces blurred when I tried to focus, like static on an old TV. The tallest one leaned down, its breath smelling of spoiled milk. Lot number 218. It hummed, a too long finger tapping my watch. "We've been debating your unique flavor." My nightstand drawer rattled open by itself. Inside lay items I didn't recognize. A childhood teddy bear, I never owned one. A positive pregnancy test, I've never been pregnant. A funeral program with my photo. The watch face glowed crimson, projecting numbers onto the ceiling. Highest bid, $19,999. Remaining, 00100. 1 minute to decide, whispered a woman's voice from the corner. Her silhouette had too many joints. Take the money and consent, or owe the balance with interest. I grabbed the funeral program. The date was tomorrow. Cause of death. Completion of contract. The figures began chanting in a language that made my nose bleed. The watch's needle plunged deep, withdrawing something thicker than blood. The numbers flickered. $20,000. Payment confirmed. Delivery in process. My front door burst open. There stood Mrs. Krasny, alive but wrong, her eyes solid black. "Run, child," she screamed, throwing salt at the figures. "They didn't buy your soul, they bought your time." The watch shattered. For one glorious second, I thought I was free, until I saw the shards reforming in mid-air. The largest piece now read, "New contract terms. Your remaining time, 24 hours. Remaining balance, $1. The figures smiled in unison. "Let's discuss renewal options," said the first buyer, pulling a fresh contract from its ribcage. "Unless you'd prefer to pay another way?" Behind it, Mrs. Krasny shook her head frantically. In her palm, she held a single penny and a kitchen knife. As the buyers advanced, I noticed something horrifying. Each of their wrists bore identical watch scars. Because the truth was worse than death. This wasn't my first auction, and judging by their hungry smiles, I used to be one of them. Mrs. Krasny's penny burned my palm as she hissed, "They always forget. The $1 balance isn't your debt." That's when the first memory returned. Me standing over a sleeping girl in 1987, whispering, "I accept," as her watch clicked open. The knife felt alien in my hand, but the weight of the penny, that was familiar. Too familiar. Why does this feel like you've held it before? Mrs. Krasny's voice gurgled strangely. I turned to see black oil leaking from her nostrils. "Because you gave this to me, child, the night you collected my final payment." The penny's date shifted under my fingers. 1989. The year I was born. One of the buyers lunged. I swung the knife on instinct, and suddenly remembered doing this before, 100 times before. Flashbacks detonated in my skull. 1975. Me in a floral dress, pressing a penny into a sobbing man's hand as his watch consumed him. 1998. My reflection aging backwards in a morgue mirror. Last week, standing over my own sleeping body to place the watch, the buyers weren't attacking. They were kneeling. Collector number 347, the tallest one rasped, offering me a contract dripping with my mother's signature. "You went rogue after the 87 assignment. We had to wipe you, make you live the debt."
Mrs. Krasny's corpse hit the floor, her hollowed-out wrist revealing the truth. Asterisk, she'd been lot pound 217 star. My last collection before I rebelled. The watch reformed on my wrist, now displaying collector status, reactivated. Outstanding debt, 1 life. The buyer's chance became a single word, asterisk choose. Asterisk. My mother's hospital bill floated in my vision. Asterisk $200,000 asterisk. With a new line item. Paid in full by. Your name. Payment method 7 souls. The kitchen knife trembled in my hand. The penny glowed white hot. And outside my window, a new sleeping face appeared. The girl from 1987, young and untouched, waiting for her watch. Asterisk. The buyer smiled with my stolen teeth as I raised the knife. Because the cruelest truth wasn't that I'd done this before, but that part of me asterisk liked asterisk it. And this time I wouldn't forget. Asterisk. Asterisk. In the end, I didn't stab the girl from 1987. I didn't stab the buyers. I pressed the penny to my own wrist and whispered, I revoke consent. Because the real trap wasn't the contract. It was thinking monsters couldn't change. Asterisk. The knife hovered over the sleeping girl's wrist. Asterisk. My first assignment. My first sin star. The buyer's whispers slithered around me. Asterisk. One cut resets everything. Your mother lives. Your debt vanishes. Asterisk. But then I noticed something they'd hidden in the contract's bleeding ink. Clause 0. Collector may void contract via self-termination with original payment instrument. The penny in my other hand grew heavier. Star 1989 star. The year I was born, or the year I became. Mrs. Krasny's corpse twitched, her skeletal hand pointing at my chest. That's when I felt it. The jagged scar under my ribs where my own collector's watch had once been. They always make us forget, I whispered. With a scream, I slammed the penny into my wrist. The watch shrieked as the copper melted through it, burning a message into my skin. Contract voided. Paid in full by self. The buyers' faces stretched in horror as their bodies unraveled like rotten thread. Asterisk. You can't. Asterisk. The tallest one wailed. The cycle. Asterisk. Is mine to break. Asterisk. I woke gasping in a hospital chair. My mother's heartbeat steady on the monitor. No watch. No scars. Just a single penny on the bedside table. Date worn smooth. The nurse smiled. Asterisk. Miracle recovery. Almost like someone asterisk paid asterisk her bill in full. Asterisk. But as I left, the elevator doors reflected a gaunt figure behind me. A woman with piano key teeth, nodding approvingly. When I turned, only a faint whisper remained. Asterisk. Collector number 348 reports for duty soon. Maybe you'll train her, better than I trained you. Asterisk. Outside, a young woman bumped into me dropping her phone. The screen showed an email. Earned $20,000 in 1 week. No experience needed. Asterisk. Asterisk. As I opened my mouth to warn her, my hand involuntarily twitched toward my pocket, where a brand new penny glinted. Asterisk. I should have read the fine print. Voiding the contract didn't free me. It just asterisk promoted asterisk me. And now I get to choose the next collector. Asterisk.